We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Wednesday, June 17th here in Seoul. I'm Lee Soo-jin, and this is News Generation. Today's date is Kyun.
Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day, and also Won Mi-suka.
Hello, happy to be here.
To have you, and both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. We're now right in the middle of the work week, and for many office workers, there's a new colleague quietly showing up at the desk every day: artificial intelligence. From drafting emails and translating documents to even delivering the news, AI is becoming an increasingly common part of the workplace. While some see it as a powerful tool that boosts productivity, others worry it could eventually replace jobs that once seemed quite secure. So to start off our discussion today, let's ask our panelists who are both part of the media industry. So Kyun, how do you feel about the growing use of AI news anchors and also as translators?
To talk about translating gigs first, I don't think I've received any related translating gigs for the past 2-3 years. There were a few proofreading inquiries here and there, but I mean, even that is now all done through the help of AI to a point where it's becoming so accurate that English native speakers like us are becoming kind of useless because everything's done through AI so quickly and more efficiently. Now, in the news industry, I know AI anchors have been implemented along with AI voice. And I remember many reporters here at Arirang, they would come up to me to ask for my English dub a few years back because they needed a male voice. But nowadays, so pretty much been all replaced by AI voice, multiple versions of male AI voices. But thankfully, the emceeing gigs that I do every now and then, which requires a lot of human-to-human communication and very quick responses through like changes. Improvising as well. I think AI cannot fully replace the emceeing gigs that I'm doing right now, which is, I guess, one positive part that I'm actually thankful of before AI replaces everything.
I actually was one of the reporters that asked you to dub, and you were always very nice about it. But it was nice having AI to help out sometimes when people weren't always available. So yeah, that's changed. What about you?
Right, so as Kyun mentioned, translation is an easy one. Writing emails or texting in another language has become really easy compared to the past since AI can do it in seconds. And about the news, I personally watch a lot of news clips on YouTube, mainly about Korean and US politics, economy, and IT as well. I know it's a little bit old for my age, but I like it. And I definitely do notice that many videos are made with AI anchors or AI voices nowadays. And I'll be very honest with this one. The AI voices, it's not my favorite. And I'm saying this not because Soo-jin is right next to me, who is a human anchor, but because news, it's all about credibility and reliability, right? I mean, they probably all approved it. It was probably approved by humans and they proofread everything. But I don't know, it just feels a little bit different when you know that the news that you're watching is made with or sometimes made by AI. So I definitely feel that AI is taking over the media industry, yeah.
Right, I think that's a very interesting distinction. So AI may be able to deliver information, but building trust with an audience is a much more complicated task. And that's why we're going to talk more about this. But first, let's take a look at the screen. With the development of artificial intelligence accelerating faster than ever, AI has become a part of everyday life for millions of people around the world. What started as a tool for handling simple, repetitive tasks has now evolved into something far more powerful, performing complex calculations, translating languages, and even delivering the news. Today on News Generation, we explore how AI is driving layoffs across the United States, which professions are feeling the impact most, and how young people around the world are adapting to a future where artificial intelligence is becoming an increasingly common coworker, and in some cases, a replacement. Just as we saw in the video, AI is no longer a technology of the future. It's already reshaping workplaces around the world. And for some companies, that transformation is coming with a human cost. So how is AI driving mass layoffs in the US, Kyun?
So looking at some big tech companies in the US gives us a clear view of how much AI is actually impacting the employment industry, employment and leading to layoffs. So after laying off 14,000 employees in October last year, Amazon announced another round of cuts in January, reducing its workforce by an additional 16,000 employees. So in total, the company laid off roughly 10% of its 350,000 headquarters staff. Now, the decision was driven by the belief that reducing labor costs and redirecting those resources toward AI investment will be a better use of capital in the long run. Now, in the case of Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, they also laid off around 8,000 employees just last month, about 10% of its total workforce, and announced plans to develop super intelligent AI, again, investing labor costs into AI development. Now, as major tech companies continue to carry out large-scale layoffs, concerns and uncertainty have been spreading across the US market, raising questions whether AI whether it's really helping the livelihoods of people. Because I remember how when Elon Musk and Sam Altman, when they first made OpenAI, they said this is for humanity. It's to help humanity to thrive and live a better life. But it is in some sense, but at the same time, it's losing a lot of jobs, laying off a lot of people. So I think it's a double-edged sword for now.
Right. So that is a striking example of how seriously companies are betting on AI. And the impact may extend far beyond a handful of tech giants. So also in Korea recently, the recent figures show that the job market in Korea saw a decline. So how much of today's job market is being caused by AI?
Right. So before sharing the exact numbers, the tasks and positions that are in the front line in terms of getting attacked or taken over by AI are usually programming, customer service, translation, as we discussed, document writing, and data analysis. Now that AIs are more than capable of performing these tasks seamlessly, many companies in general, even outside of big tech companies, require less people than before. And according to the job and executive coaching firm Challenger, Gray & Christmas, as of May 2026, about 40% of layoffs was due to AI replacement. And this trend is only projected to increase globally throughout the upcoming years.
Right. So those numbers suggest AI is no longer just changing how we work, it's changing who gets hired and who doesn't. And the effects, however, aren't being felt equally across the workforce. So which jobs are being hit the hardest by AI right now?
You know, while AI is expected to affect pretty much every single industry out there, its impact is surprisingly making a much stronger effect in highly educated, high-income, white-collar workers' jobs. In particular, AI has advanced to the point where many junior-level roles in professions such as law and accounting are becoming less necessary. As a result, many younger professionals who have only recently earned their licenses or certifications are finding it increasingly difficult to secure employment. Tasks that were once handled by entry-level lawyers, such as legal research, document review, and drafting complaints, can now be performed much quicker and efficiently by AI systems. Hence, many senior lawyers see AI agents to be more convenient and, of course, cost-effective. Now, in the accounting profession, similar challenges are being faced as well. In Korea alone, fewer than 30% of those who actually passed the certified public accountant examination last year registered in a training institution to actually become a professional lawyer. So only just 3 in 10 are doing this. But only a decade ago, accounting was considered one of the most prestigious and secure professional careers. But right now, today, the profession is experiencing severe employment difficulties because of AI.
That's quite shocking. I actually have a family member who is a CPA,
Okay.
so that these number figures are quite surprising. So it's striking to hear that some of the careers once considered the safest and most prestigious are now also among those feeling the greatest pressure from AI. To get a more in-depth perspective on this, we're going to talk to a lawyer, and that conversation will take place right after break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
To learn more about how AI is transforming the legal profession, we're joined today by Kim Ji-soo, a lawyer here in Korea. So hello, thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hello, morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So Ji-soo, what legal tasks can AI, do you think, in your opinion, can perform quite effectively?
So as we've mentioned it before, AI is already very good at a lot of the work that used to be done by junior lawyers. For example, when a law firm is asked to advise on a legal issue, there's usually a lot of groundwork to be done. For example, someone has to research the law, review the cases, and go through all the documents they have, and we need to put together all in an initial draft. So traditionally, much of that work would have been handled by junior associate levels, but today AI can do it, a lot of it much faster. So in that sense, AI is already replacing much of the tasks junior lawyers used to perform. But I would also like to mention that still lawyers and accountants is still a prestigious job to take because what it hasn't replaced yet is the legal judgment area. So maybe we can discuss it a later part.
So that leads me to my next question. How do legal professionals like yourself feel about the rapid development of AI?
So the attitude has changed quite a bit over the last few years. When tools like ChatGPT first appeared, there were a lot of uncertainties, so nobody really knew how capable the technology would become. So naturally, there were some concerns within the profession. However, as we started using these tools, as lawyers started using these tools, a much clearer picture has emerged. So AI turned out to be extremely useful, but also more limited than many people initially presumed. So today, many lawyers see AI less as a threat and more as a tool. It helps us work faster, handle information more efficiently, and focus on higher valued work. So compared to a few years ago, there's much greater acceptance of AI within our professions.
Well, thank you so much for giving us the insightful overview. Now, last question for you. How have the role and status of lawyers changed over the past decade?
So one of the biggest changes is that lawyers are no longer valued simply because we have access to legal information. Today, legal information is prevalent online, and AI can often find relevant laws and cases in just a second. So clients aren't really looking for someone to tell them what the law says, but they're looking for someone who can actually help them understand what the law means for their own situations. That means exercising judgment, assessing risks, and helping clients make important decisions. So in many ways, the role of lawyers has evolved from being a source of legal knowledge into being a trusted advisor and a problem solver.
Right. I think these are really good points. Like while AI may be changing different industries, like the legal profession or even the broadcast industry, there's some things that only humans can still do. So I think that's a great point to me that you made. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you.
So we just talked to a lawyer about how AI is reshaping the legal profession and creating new challenges for young professionals entering the workforce. But concerns about AI aren't limited to lawyers or Korea and the US. So are white-collar workers overseas women also feeling the pressure of being replaced by AI?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There are even some cases where the white-collar workers are switching to blue-collar jobs too. For example, in a construction specializing college in the UK, more than 600 students were unable to take their program because the number of applicants exceeded the program capacity. And moreover, they still have more than 300 people on the waiting list for other programs like electrical wiring, plumbing, and other traditional blue-collar jobs. Also in Canada, many millennials and Gen Zs are choosing to go to college and learn trades instead of the traditional route or the path of four-year university and landing on a white-collar office job. And this is definitely because blue-collar jobs are less threatened by AI, at least for now, due to the physical requirements and the skills that it needs. And on top of that, as you grow your career as a blue-collar worker, they also often guarantee very competitive salaries. And this goes for other Western countries like Australia and Germany as well.
Right, so that is a remarkable shift, especially considering that office jobs were once seen as the most desirable career path. And as AI continues to transform the labor market, many young people are obviously rethinking their future. So how are Gen Zs and millennials that are currently looking for jobs responding to these changes?
Job security has definitely become, it's job insecurity, that is. It's become widespread among young people, just like what Wonbin just mentioned about how they're just switching to the blue-collar jobs from the traditional, favored white-collar jobs. So according to a survey conducted in April by the Korean Federation of Trade Unions, among 1,078 employees at 8 domestic gaming companies, 77% of respondents said they felt insecure about their jobs due to the introduction of AI. IT industry workers, where layoffs have become quite prominent, especially in the US, have become more sensitive to these developments. Now, software developers currently earning six-figure salaries are reportedly enrolling in preparatory courses for government civil service examinations, or called 공무원 시험 in Korean, seeking the stability of public sector employment despite the lower pay. Now, as a result, civil service exam academies have seen a significant increase in the number of working professionals enrolling in recent years, reflecting growing concerns over job security in the private IT sector.
Right, so that level of anxiety shows just how uncertain many workers feel about the future of their careers. At the same time, some young people are taking a very different approach. So how are some young people using AI to stay competitive?
Right, so, well, one advantage that we have as the younger generation is that we adapt quickly, relatively. So we are more comfortable, again, relatively comfortable with using AI for ourselves too. This means that as many young workers are threatened by AI, at the same time, they're also using them as a tool to create additional income or even create a career. AI is most commonly used for making a side hustle, which means a second job for additional income. For example, some people make contents for videos like YouTube and social media. Someone do online drop shipping. Some people do day trading or making courses or services online.
They sound like things that you're doing right now.
Yeah, something that I'm trying to implicate AI into my work as well. Yeah, and
You're one of these young people that are
and it's very
competitive.
helpful. It's a way different workflow compared to just me doing everything. So it's very useful and very helpful. And to dig a little bit deeper into how AI is used in these side hustles, the main role of AI is to work as a helper or an agent that often automates this side hustle, which saves us a lot of time and energy.
Right. So it's interesting that the same technology causing anxiety is also creating new opportunities for those who know how to use it. And ultimately, it raises a bigger question about how we should approach an AI-driven future. Now, to close off our discussion today, Kyun, what mindset then should we have in the age of AI?
I know that many young people are worried because of the advancement of AI, including myself, especially those who are actually seeking a job right after graduating, especially in the IT industry or the highly educated white-collar jobs. But I think worrying about it and not doing anything is not going to change anything, but rather slow you down. So I think becoming a top tier or someone who is irreplaceable in any type of job will give you that competitive edge over any kind of technology advancement. Now, unless we see more robots than humans in this world, I think the humans will have more power and control in the end. Now, although everything I'm saying right now is easier said than done, I think just whatever you do, put in 100% effort because someone is going to see what you've done, and that's going to leave an impression and reputation of you. And I think that would eventually make or break your career because whatever you do, sometimes you can slack off, which I know many young people do, including the older generation as well. But, everyone, there's going to be someone looking over you, looking at what you've done. And by putting in 100% in whatever you do, in whatever field or area, whether you're a student or whether you're actually seeking a job, your first job, if you put in that 100%, it will pile up, accumulate, and build that image only you can have. And eventually that will help you to secure any kind of job and make you stable and help you kind of just stay there until you want to retire yourself instead of being laid off.
Right, in the end, like you said, obviously AI is going to have to be controlled by humans, unless of course robots become so advanced. But I think, like you mentioned also before, like I think it's also good to develop like side hustles, like know how to really fully utilize AI. So what are your thoughts on this?
I basically agree with everything that Kyun said, and I just want to close off by borrowing the words of Jensen Huang, who is the CEO of NVIDIA, which everybody knows. Nowadays, he often mentions that intelligence is now a commodity. This means that unlike the past, being the smartest in the room doesn't automatically mean that you're the best, because now we can just ask AI and it'll answer within seconds. In my opinion, we should focus more on building character. Building, which means your mindset, your work ethics, your attitudes, your relationship with people. So when Jensen Huang said that intelligence is now a commodity, it's not the answer of how we should respond or how we should react to the AI rush, but it's definitely a good place for us to start. It's a food for thought, yeah.
So I think he said this in an interview when he was in Korea,
Yes.
right? And I think that before, really popular question that people ask is, do you prefer like a coworker who's good at their job or is a good person?
Yes.
And now with the advent of AI, I feel like now character is going to be more
Absolutely.
important.
That's good news for me. not being, having to become the smartest person in the class. Yeah.
From mass layoffs to the rise of side hustles, AI is changing the rules of the job market in real time. The professions once considered safest are now facing new kinds of competition. And in the end, adaptability may become just as important as experience or credentials. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. But News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. Big thanks to Kyun.
Thanks for having me.
And also Wonbin.
Always a pleasure.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully AI will remain our assistant and not our replacement. We are News Generation.